Yeah.
Now its name's Cabot. It is a 5'9" great white shark. It was in Greenwich yesterday, and now it's like somewhere in the news area. Don't go in the water!
White shark's crazy, right?
Don't do it. We'll solve it out in the newsroom out in Culver City. I'm sure LA knows a thing or two about sharks in the waters.
Absolutely. And if I do go in the water, I'll just follow Schraig's lead and leave my shirt on is what I'm going to do. Right, Schraig?
Exactly right.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah,
Protect yourself from the sun, Will.
There you go.
And
you
the
have to. Yes, exactly. All of it. Bucks defensive tackle Gerald McCoy absent for off-seasonal workouts, and the team made sure his absence was permanent. Tampa Bay releasing the veteran after 9 seasons. The 31-year-old McCoy still had 3 more years left on his deal and was set to earn $13 million. This move helps the Bucks cap situation, rather. The team reportedly was looking for trade partners for him, but there were no takers since being drafted in 2010. McCoy has the 3rd most sacks among defensive tackles with 50.5. Now, McCoy's future is now clear, but Kyle Rudolph's is a bit fuzzy. The Vikings tight end is due $7.6 million in the final year of a contract extension signed in 2014. Now, talks of a new deal broke off in recent weeks, and the team reportedly thought about trading him given their dire cap situation. Even so, Rudolph tells NFL Network's Tom Pelissero that he plans to attend the first day of OTAs today. Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll likes to chomp on his gum, roam the sidelines at a giddy pace, and football without replay. That's right, Carroll telling Peter King he'd like to get rid of or at least decrease the use of instant replay. Carroll says he misses the human element of trusting the officials to make the calls in the moment. He called it both fun and frustrating. Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger expressing his frustration over a Week 12 loss, you might recall, to the Broncos last November on his radio show. Well, after some time to reflect on his scathing commentary, mostly directed toward Antonio Brown and offensive coordinator Randy Fichtner, Big Ben apologized for doing it. He says he deserved the heat for his comments and felt genuinely bad. He says he probably went too far after that game. He added that if that's what ruined his friendship and relationship, he's truly sorry. Now, Brown obviously couldn't resist. He had to answer, and he did in the form of a tweet posting Two-Face. So that was from Antonio Brown there. And remember, there was that photos that surfaced of Big Ben hosting teammates at his lake house in Georgia. So is Big Ben trying to start this PR campaign now, slowly but surely on everybody, okay, guys?
Kyle, better than season finale of Game of Thrones going on?
It's better than Falcon Crest. It's the greatest soap opera, and it won't end. Just when we think it's over, we got another tweet and a boat video. It goes on and on. I love it.
We'll dig in. Thanks. Well, when does this end, do you think? Once the season starts?
It's not going to end anytime soon.
Never.
Really? Into the season?
Yeah, for sure.
China Beach.
Both of these guys. Big Ben without AB. AB without Big Ben. We're going to be paying attention all season.
And Le'Veon wants in, too. Come on now.
There are 32 caps in the room that we should probably address. It is time for another edition of All Caps.
All right.
Twist in the Steelers saga we just heard about with the Ben apology. Pick the cap of the team that you guys think will be scrutinized over the next 12 months the way the Steelers have been for the last 12 months.
Picked apart by our media brethren.
That red one, Schraig.
Not us.
Buzzards.
Brethren, not us.
Never us.
Okay, all right.
I'll come out of the gates with a
coming
team
out of the
we
gates,
started with
Schraig?
the show with these guys. It's already 5 months into Adam Gase's tenure as the coach of the New York Jets. That was a Freudian
administration.
Subtle slip there. But yeah, let's see what happens here, because now you have all these personalities as players involved, and it's Le'Veon Bell, and it's a second-year quarterback, and we've got all these new pieces to it. But now you have a coach who already is going to have a new GM, and there's a coaching staff that also includes, Greg Williams, who, if you don't remember, Greg Williams was the head coach of the Cleveland Browns and has quite the fiery personality himself. So I think if the Jets are a success, it's the biggest story in New York. If the Jets fall on their face, it's the biggest story in New York. If the Jets are mediocre, it's the biggest story in New York. I think the Jets are a huge, captivating, scrutinized world right now.
All right, let me put this one on. Come on, hello. I'm going to turn it around exactly right. We're 1 year into Baker Mayfield's reign in Cleveland. I have a confession for you guys. I have a long drive home sometimes. I get really bored. Yesterday, I couldn't bring myself to read all the Game of Thrones columns. I pulled up old video of a game from last year. I watched Browns-Bengals, the Hugh Jackson, the handshake game. The Browns have so much juice and so much pop after the play, before the play. There's so much of this and so much energy, and that was before Odell got there. So you take all that, you put it on national television, you put it with the expectations that they're supposed to win, what is it now, Peter, 12 games or something crazy like that? So much nitpicking going on, because just so much raw personality. The quarterback talks, the wide receiver talk, the other one talk. The coach, Freddie Kitchens, could be a national treasure.
Yeah.
So it is the Browns. It's all very positive right now, but I think they're in the 1 seed.
Why do you wear your hat like K-Fed?
Because it's the only way it fits me.
K-Fed.
Have you seen K-Fed now? Well fed. What do you got?
I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals because I feel like whenever you're going into any statement about a player or even a coach on this team, it starts with remember when. Remember when Cliff Kingsbury was a media darling and everybody thought this new young coach was going to be special. Remember when Josh Rosen was the quarterback. Remember when they said that young Kyler Murray couldn't play quarterback. And say, you remember when Larry Fitzgerald was good when he was younger? You remember when Patrick Peterson had a flawless record? Do you remember when the Cardinals were the best team in the NFC East? I feel like we'll just continue to ask these questions until the Cardinals change our minds about each of those questions. So the drama will come with the Cardinals. We're paying attention to this squad.
I love that. Out in the desert, we've got you covered. And do you remember when Noah Fant ran a faster combine than anyone in 2019? Now with the Broncos after the draft. So that one is, of course, one of the tables, or one of the hats represented here on the table. But Vic Fangio, their new head coach, is trying to get the most out of a very talented player. Take a look.
Well, yeah, he can run. We all knew that. That was easy. But now he's got to learn how to be a tight end in the NFL. You know, he's got tools, but you know, I can go into Home Depot and walk out with a bunch of nice tools. I'm not a carpenter, and we got to teach him to be a tight end, and in the NFL, and he's working great at it.
Of course, means blocking, a new system, a new vibe entirely. So I ask you guys, who else is like that? Who else is like Noah Fant? Somebody who has all the talent in the world but needs to be groomed and sort of make the adjustment and the leap to the NFL.
Vic Fangio is such a Home Depot guy, too. You can picture him with that orange apron. Like, it's just perfect. What do you got, Nate?
Look at the size of this head.
That's right, baby.
All right, I'm going to go with the Browns, and I feel like David Njoku is exactly what we're all thinking about when it comes to a guy with the tools. If you just pay attention to his highlights, they will blow your mind. He's fast, he's strong, he can jump. I mean, he looks like just a really tall wide receiver. The simple fact that last year he went out there and had 639 yards. That was 8th amongst all tight ends. And you can do everything. Look at this is one of our
plays.
He tried to
the same game
from the 10-yard line.
I know. And he got
so for me, I'm looking at David Njoku to make that leap into being one of those guys that occasionally give us the flash highlight to being one of the better tight ends in the league. And now he has Baker Mayfield going into his second year. David Njoku, I got my guy.
Love Njoku. I'm going to go to the nation's capital, but it is not Dwayne Haskins. When so much talk about Haskins, we forget about Montez Sweat. Guys, the reviews from Sweat being on field are glistening. Jay Gruden said afterwards, you watch him run after practice, and he's the fastest guy we got out there. And then Burber's like, wait a second, are you saying he's the fastest guy on the team? And he started backpedaling. Fact is, 6'6", 260. His outside rush is insane. The second he starts getting people and then does the deep back inside, he could be like a 4'4" Reggie White. His potential is that high. And I can dream, Peter, about a 6'6", 260-pound punt returner. Someday I want to see it. He has the speed. Sweat, go get it, baby.
I love that. I'm going to go a little different route with this. I'm going to say the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to say a third-year running back named Leonard Fournette, because we've seen what Fournette could do when he's on the program and he's completely locked in. Here it is. It's one of our favorite runs ever. He calls out Mike Mitchell, waves him over, and says, bring it, and runs right into him. Look at this. He summons for Mike Mitchell. This was really basically the play of our show 2 seasons ago.
You want scrap?
We loved Fournette.
Look at this.
You guys, he called out. You don't know, last year was not good, and he was suspended a game for unsportsmanlike conduct and unnecessary roughness in Week 12 against the Bills, and then this offseason was arrested for driving without a valid license. Like,
piled up.
It really piled up quickly, and Fournette is one of these guys that has all the talent in the world. All the stuff is there. You just got to be able to put it all together. I'm hoping in year 3 we see a different version of Leonard Fournette than we did in year 2, which I think was a step backwards from a really good year 1.
All good answers. You guys can chime in, of course, at home at #GMFB. We're talking quarterbacks next. NFC West. Russell Wilson, newly signed. We haven't seen Garoppolo in a bit. Jared Goff also wants to get paid at some point. A lot of intrigue surrounding the QBs in the NFC West. best? Who's under the most pressure there?
Maybe it's Kyler. Who knows?
And best running back in New York. How'd this go on Twitter yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
With the voters.
This is a great question, those two.
I think everyone's going Saquon, but I would say hold your breath. Let's see what Le'Veon looks like before we start voting.
Recency bias.
Yeah, we forget how good Le'Veon was.
That is a Saquon.
Where that
I have a
happened.
big Saquon.